Have you ever think, what if you are trying to put the entire cast of My Hero Academia into an archetype? Sounds far-fetched at a glance, but that is exactly what Galactic B Hero is all about. A group of heroes who actually have a base and actually fight against evil and fight with numbers. And that does translate very well into the playstyle of the deck. But for the longest time, a lot of people also shit on heroes a lot, purely because of how soft their attack tends to get. But one thing that not a lot of people know is the fact that Hero is, in my opinion, the most aggressive combo deck that I can think of, and if you look for something very stimulating, this might actually be the thing for you. And they decided to give a hero a brand new boss unit. Is this brand new boss actually worth the buck? That is exactly what I'm gonna be talking about today. But of course, before we have to talk about the new cards, we have to go through what B Hero doing in general. Hero has the main focus on essentially one single card, Galactic Base Aegis. This card allows you to not only filter up to 3 cards, aka the prototype of Moongate, but also is able to call those cards out on demand for both defensive and offensive capability. With the earlier iteration of Hero has a more focus on rush very well, but also have a good defense with cards like Rampart Aspida
being a 15k shield that can so charge.
And for the longest time, the main issue with the Hero was the fact that getting base was a really pain in the ass. But things actually changed for the deck with the release of DBT13 Amastania. This card was amazing card because it helps you to search for base card and also allow you to play into one more base card, allowing you to do a mass filter within a single turn. And on top of that, you have cards like Broadfield, which does help you to recycle back the gate from your drop if you have to discard it for any of the costs in your deck. And this makes Hero extremely aggressive and was able to make use of Unidianos additional crit and power very early on. But the deck does still have an issue, and that boils down to the fact that the deck still need a counter blast. So 1 year later, Hero gets not only a counter blast but also a brand new base.
Are you fucking dumb?
Yes, it doesn't really play around with the hero themselves, but having another base able to play it early game is really helpful. Especially Die base is a great zero, which means that you can play it with Die Lander, allowing you to essentially filter out at least one card out of your deck while also helping to energy charge one. So there is definitely some variance and playstyle that you can play with Hero. But why exactly Hero was so unknown? Well, it kind of just boiled down to its main problem. It's tiny poke. Yes, the deck can dish out multiple attacks very quickly in the single turn, and that is as early as turn 2, but the problem with the deck overall is the fact that the number is so small. Even if you can dish out so many attacks, one defensive just shut down essentially their entire turn. Then we have a brand new support. Does the brand new support actually fix some of the issue that the deck has? To an extent, yes, but you also lose something in the process. So let's start off with the card that were revealed before the new grade 3, and that is Galactic B Hero Sleek Q1. This card, when scouted and you have a B Hero Vanguard, you can Soul Blast one and choose a card with B Hero in this different card name from this card from drop, and you scout it to base. This card does help you a lot in scouting more multiple cards into the base, with Wire Colossus essentially +2 instead of +1, and Bowsalos essentially +2 as well instead of +1 into the scout zone. A lot of people might see this card as bad, but I do think the fact that the deck can scout more and does do it so naturally as you combo with other cards helps the deck a lot, especially considering you have another card that helps you to scout in the form of Galactic B Hero Levin Brondia. This card has 2 skills where when placed on Vanguard circle, and if you have B Hero Vanguard and a base was not put into your order zone this turn, you may scout a card from your hand, search your deck or draw for up to 1 base card and put it into your order zone. If you search it, shuffle your deck. And then when this unit attack a greater or greater unit, this unit gets 5k for each different base in your order zone. Encouraging you to run different base is a little bit annoying for some people, but I do think this means that you also have another 20k attacker, which is something that the deck really needs. And of course, more ways to scout is always a plus in Galactic Hero in general. But what about the brand new boss? Do we still have to rely on Unite Dinos? Unfortunately, yes, as we have Steadily Crozat. This unit has 2 skills, where during your turn, if your soul has greater or greater card with B Hero in this different card name from this unit get additional 5k.
Wait a minute! planet.
And then at the end of the battle, this unit attack, you can counterblast one, put 2 red cards with B hero in their card name into soul, choose one of your grade 3 scouted card with a different card name for this unit, write it as stamp, and it get drive -1 until end of turn. If you wrote a card, scout this card to your base, and at the end of turn, choose the card scout by this effect and write as race. I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting a lot from this card, but oh boy, do it under delivered.
You're failing on the highest level.
Yes, multiple Vanguard attack is always nice, additional drive is always nice. The problem is cost of the skill, and not the fact that you have to put 2 red cards into soul. That is perfectly fine in itself. It's the counterblast. You see, one of the biggest issue that B hero has in general is the fact that the deck costs a lot of counterblast. Unite Dianos counterblast one pretty much every turn if you want to use a 15k and crit skill. Both are lost counterblast if you want to scout more cards. And last but not least, a Mazdania have to counterblast to extend into another attack. So you essentially have 3 different cards in your deck that has a lot of counterblast. Yes, we do have Radar spell stand to countercharge now, but to obtain that countercharge, you have to put Radar into soul, which is kind of antithesis to the Colossal skill, which does require 2 red cards to put into soul to trigger the rewrite skill. So as much as Colossal does bring something new to hero as a whole, it under-delivered severely.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
So why even bother to play heroes? Well, the deck does have some good benefit in the form of edges, because edges help you to filter multiple times, and with the current state of the deck is able to play it very consistently multiple times. And then on top of that, the deck has a lot of rushing power thanks to cards like Direct Folios and a Mazdania. The deck also hit at a decent number individually thanks to cards like Bosalos and Lebron, who essentially hit hard on their own, on top of the other buff you can get from triggers or even Unite Dinos. The problem with this deck though is the fact that if you do not draw into base, you're kind of screwed, or at least any of the base searcher, because your deck slows down almost instantly. And to make things worse, the deck does require 3 base to actually able to rush properly in the earlier part of the game. So if you do not draw into Edge's base at any timing at all, you are screwed, because you are not able to rush well until turn 3, which by then would be too late for hero to actually gain the upper edge, purely because of the fact that you are also using a lot of resource to get to the board state that you needed to, especially in the latest version of hero, which discourages you from rushing on turn 2, which in my honest opinion is extremely stupid on Bushiroad's side. But that's B hero, a deck that I personally love, but oh boy, do Bushiroad actually very half-ass a lot of cards in this deck. But what do you guys think? Do you willing to give this deck a try for how budget it can get? Do leave down in the comments below. And yeah, that's all I have for today. Take care of yourself, don't forget to clap that sub and become a member for some cool perks. And this is Mac Mechanic signing out.